Rahima Gambo. I came into photography mainly, I think, as a journalist. I became absolutely obsessed with visual art, visual storytelling. I was introduced to documentary photography, the more kind of long form type. And I think it was the kind of photography that, you really became very intimate with someone. The one that kind of peels away the layers of who this person is or what this issue is, and get really close to people. The themes I deal with, I think, are mainly to do with gender, to do with Nigeria, the environment that I'm in. For example, I'm from Northeast Nigeria, so I was automatically drawn to the conflict that was happening there. In Nigeria, you can't delude yourself that everything is okay. You constantly have to be thinking, how do I respond to this? How do I respond to things that are happening in the country with my art, with my expression? Education is Forbidden was a multimedia project I started in 2015, really with the idea to just find out how students were experiencing the insurgency in a very kind of interior way. Wanting, I think, to find my voice as a photographer, and how can I tell this with an awareness of I'm not the typical photojournalist, holding a camera coming from, a foreign country. I actually come from this place, and I can say something, I think, different about what's happening. You can't get away from the fact that when you enter a space or you enter a certain story, especially in Africa, there are layers to it. The beginning, where you think is the beginning of the story, is usually not the beginning. It started many, many, many years ago. And that's what I found going into these schools. It's not just this contemporary kind of conflict happening just now. Things were put in place that started this a very long time ago. And I think just that, bringing that kind of knowledge to the work, I think gave me the freedom to do something different with the images. It was just a gasp of, I think, fresh air, just to know that I was part of this, I think, heritage and history of African photographers that are saying something about their environment, about their identity. It's such an exciting time, I think, for photography right now. Looking at the history and the way photography was used on African bodies, just the idea of us behind the camera, I think, gives us this freedom to really push the boundaries of what a story is. How do you tell a story? How do you express through this medium? And I think it's just very exciting to see how people are defining that in their own ways.